Don't overpay. The real estate market is definitely shifting. The median sales price here in the greater Iowa City area was down $7,500 month over month in August. Don't end up essentially bidding against yourself and overpay for your new home. I'm going to tell you how. Scarcity and fear are powerful motivators. Buyers who heard all the war stories from earlier this year, especially those who might be working with an out-of-touch or an inexperienced agent, might find themselves overpaying in the market of today. The crazy seller's market we have been experiencing for the past 2 years is over. We are now in new territory, and we're seeing far fewer multiple offers on listings, fewer homes that are selling for over asking price, and fewer cases where buyers are waiving inspections and appraisal. Some buyers are still so eager to buy a home that they come out of the gates with an offer that is astronomically too high. They are bidding against themselves because the property has no other offers. Let's talk about the ways you can minimize the risk of this happening to you. Number 1, you have to have a buyer's agent working for you. It's important for you to understand that it is the listing agent's job to obtain the most desirable offer possible for the seller when it comes to price and terms. While it is possible for the listing agent to act as a dual agent and represent both sides, he or she is not going to be able to directly advise you about what price to offer. At best, he or she is going to give you some examples of what other similar properties have sold for and ask you where you want to come in. On the flip side, if you had a buyer's agent, he or she would be reaching out to the listing agent to inquire about any competing offers and glean information about the seller's motivation and what they're looking for in their ideal offer. Things like the seller's preferred closing date, a desire by the seller to limit potential remedy requests, or information about the seller's new housing situation. Do they have to buy a house? Is their sale of this house contingent upon finding a new one? All of these details matter when structuring your offer. I've noticed that lately when I call listing agents to ask them if they currently have any offers in hand, they'll say things like, "Not yet, but we've had a lot of interest," or "We had a busy open house. I need to circle back to those buyers and their agents," or "I'm expecting an offer soon." Okay, what I distill from all of that is that they don't have any offers. Number 2, I always tell my buyers to breathe through the stress of the unknown and weigh how much risk they're willing to accept. I always pull comparable properties to see what similar houses have sold for recently so we can get a real feel for if the house seems reasonably priced. If you absolutely are going to be crushed if you don't get the house, well, you need to write your very best offer up front so that you can live with no regrets. If you can handle the possibility of rejection, you can write an offer testing the water a bit and see if we can negotiate the price down. Often, it takes a couple of counteroffers back and forth between buyers and sellers to settle on a price, which does involve risk. If another offer comes in that the seller prefers, well, that can blow up the deal you're trying to put together. 3, be willing to walk away. Real estate is unique in that it is such a highly emotional process for many buyers. If you find yourself ruled by emotions, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. I am finding that some sellers in this currently shifting market have pretty unrealistic expectations on price based upon what happened to their friends and neighbors in the recent past. They may initially find your offer to be unacceptable, and if common ground cannot be found, you need to walk away. Those sellers may come back to you singing a different tune in a few weeks, and you could have the opportunity to resubmit your offer if nothing else better has come along that you would prefer. So what are the telltale signs that we're shifting towards a buyer's market? According to a recent article by Realtor.com, these are 4 indicators. Number 1, more homes are becoming available. This metric is, of course, going to be very hyper-local. Here in the greater Iowa City area, when I look at what's been happening in the last month or so, I can see that things are generally trending towards more inventory, but it's not a huge spike. The unspoken flip side of this coin is how many buyers out there want this inventory, and all indications are that the buyer pool is getting quite shallow. On a national level, housing inventory grew 18.7% in June as compared to a year earlier, which is the largest margin since the data has been collected. Inventory has increased in 39 of the 50 largest U.S. metros compared to last year. Now, these increases are not hugely dramatic spikes, but they do show that the market is cooling. Number 2, homes are taking longer to sell. When homes take longer to sell, it's a sign buyers are not desperate and sellers have lost some leverage. The acronym you'll hear tossed around is DOM, which stands for Days on Market. Different associations may measure their DOM differently. Some places count the number of days on market until a property is under contract, which will give you a very short DOM, while others, like the Iowa City Area Association of Realtors, count days on market as until the house reaches pending status, which means all contingencies have been removed, including inspections, financing, and appraisal. That process normally takes at least 30 days to release all contingencies. Our days on market here in the Iowa City area are trending upwards for both condos and single families. Number 3, more price reductions. Overall national home prices are still rising, up 16.9% from last year, but the number of price reductions is also rising, which is a sign that sellers seem to be hitting the ceiling with what they can command for their property, and that reductions from those overly optimistic prices may be necessary to get houses sold. We don't have a way to track price reductions here in the Iowa City area MLS, which is a major annoyance of mine, but anecdotally I can say that I am noticing a lot of price reductions. 4, a drop in mortgage applications. This one is simple. Fewer applications mean fewer buyers out there looking for a home to buy. Rising interest rates combined with high prices has pushed many buyers to the sidelines. Major mortgage brokers can see the writing on the wall, and they are laying off workforce as they slim down to adjust for fewer applications and fewer transactions. Are you seeing a shift in the real estate market where you are? What are your thoughts on avoiding paying too much for a home? I'd love to hear from my viewers, so be sure to leave a comment down below. Hey, it's been fun, and I'll catch you later.